My friends, this has been a fabulous week on many fronts. In my reading life, in my personal life. Hi, I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. Let's talk about the week ending August 18th, 2024. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. I'm a composer, now also booktuber. You can find my music in The Wheel of Time Season 2, His Dark Material Season 3, and the official Brent Week's companion album for his series, Lightbringer. So I wanted to take this time to talk a little bit about everything that happened in my personal life, in my reading life, and usually in my music life, although that was a little bit light this week. I always like to do these kind of weekly reading roundups so you can kind of be apprised on what I've been reading and we can kind of use that as a basis point for discussion because it's always fun to have that dialogue with all of you. So jumping right into the books, what did I read this week? So I have been doing a read-along, buddy read with John from Disquiet and Dragons and Ellie from Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. I'm linking both their channels below. They're both fantastic people and fantastic booktubers. So if you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend you do so. And we have been reading, The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. It's a 16-book series. It's comprised of 4 trilogies and 1 quadrilogy. So pretty ambitious, series. But, at least there's kind of jumping off points, right? You have these sub-series that let it be a little bit easier kind of to take little bites in proportion. And so we've been making our way through the Farseer trilogy, the first of the trilogies in this Realm of the Elderlings broader universe. And we are on the final book of that trilogy, and that is Assassin's Quest. So this one is about 800 and something pages, 830, I think, somewhere around there. And it is a pretty dense read. I mean, this, Robin Hobb's prose is really beautiful. So you don't want to just like speed run it. But, I was talking to both Ellie and John. We were kind of discussing over Instagram like chat as we read this book. And it's kind of this funny feeling that like you want to read as much as you can because it's just you could fall into this world. Like it doesn't matter if it takes 50 pages to walk through a forest or eat a meal by the fire or have a discussion about something that is not necessarily related to plot, but kind of helps you understand the characters a bit more. That's something that Robin Hobb does really well. And that's something that I just love about her work. And I think we all kind of share that same sentiment that, you want to speed run through it all, but you also want to sip and savor every morsel. So it's just kind of that tussle between the two reading speeds, I think. But personally, I'm about 42% done with this book now. So I'm about probably 400 pages. I'm reading it on my Kindle Scribe. It was a gift from my mother-in-law for my early birthday present. So I've been really enjoying reading on that. But of course I had to get the paperback, the trade paperback, so I can have a nice little copy on my shelf and for future rereads, because I can already tell I'm definitely going to be rereading this series. It's one where I can't wait to reread it again. That's how I already feel about it. And I'm just 3rd book into 16, so that is the first book that I read this week. The second book I started was due to all of you guys. So I have to thank you all for kind of recommending this one to me. Of course, Stephen King's my favorite author of all time. For those of you who are new, now you know. I have a whole shelf dedicated to the man back there, and I plan on adding more and kind of squeezing them in every, kind of crack and crevice of that shelf as I possibly can. So I took a community poll to ask, which book should I read next? And you all kindly enough picked Different Seasons by Stephen King. So this is the book that I've kind of been making my way through. Also reading it on my Kindle Scribe, actually. This is just a little aside I want to mention about the Kindle Scribe is like the original Paperwhite I had was very small. So after turning pages, you're kind of turning them more frequently. And after reading books after books, like in a row, it starts to feel like all the same thing at a point. I didn't get that feeling with the Kindle Scribe because it's so massive. It feels like a tablet. So, with all the benefits of an e-reader. So, that was something I was really enjoying, switching between books and not feeling that weird kind of, almost kind of whiplash. So that was just about the Kindle Scribe. But I've been reading Different Seasons. I am on the first story right now, Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. And, I've watched the movie before a couple times, and I love the movie. And it's, it's one of those few that it ranks up there as like one of the greatest movies, So I was like, you know when you already have seen the source material in a different format and you try to go back to reading the book? Like that happened to me in The Shining. I tried to read The Shining after seeing the movie numerous times, and I just couldn't get the Jack Torrance, that Stanley Kubrick's version of Jack Torrance, out of my head when reading The Shining. So I had a little bit of trouble with that. That was not the case here. So far, I am, maybe about halfway through that first story of the 4. I'm just absolutely loving it. I think it's riveting. It really shows kind of the darkness of prison culture and what that really feels like. And for somebody whose kind of job it is to help get things for the prisoners, at a cost, of course, they see the seedy underbelly from a different vantage point. How much are the prison guards in on some of this corruption and things like that. So very fascinating book. I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out already. I'm really enjoying this first story, and I'm really looking forward to kind of getting into this a little bit more. So these were the two I kind of focused on, but I didn't get a chance to read too much of these as much as I would have liked to this week, because I'll tell you a little bit more about this in my kind of life update thing, but I went on a trip with some friends, and so it kind of kept me from reading as much as I wanted to this week. But I always have a chance to rectify this coming week. So what am I going to read this week? So I am actually planning on going full tilt and trying to finish both of these if I can this week. That's a kind of ambitious thing because, as you can tell, they're both pretty chunky. But I'm going to be going on a cruise with my wife to Alaska for 11 days. It's going to be nothing but us, the boat, tons of food and drinks, and hanging out on the kind of the deck and picking up a nice book and reading. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So I'm definitely going to be trying to make these two books the focus. If I can, I really want to I want to get back to this book because I've been really enjoying it. I recently got into Janny Wirtz, in no small part due to Dr. Philip Chase and Joanna Reed's reviews, linking them down below as well. And they kind of sold me on Janny Wirtz as being just like an author I have to check out as a high fantasy lover. So I picked up To Ride Hell's Chasm, which is kind of a standalone. And it's nice because, she has this Wars of Light and Shadow series that I think recently just got completed. I think it's 11 books or so. Very ambitious. It's kind of Malazan in its complexity. Maybe a different writing style, maybe easier to get into than Malazan, but it kind of feels like that ambitious work. So I didn't want to kind of start another 11 book series. I wanted to kind of dip my toes into the water, and so I figured this is kind of the perfect place to start. So I started with To Ride Hell's Chasm. I'm about 40% of this book as well, and so I really want to kind of focus back on this. So I'm going to see kind of how it works. Like if I somehow miraculously get through these two books, I'm going to try to make a dent in this one. So that is kind of my reading plans as it stands on the channel. I kind of want to talk a little bit about my upcoming vacation, because that's going to impact the channel a little bit, but not as much as you'd think, because 11 days is a long time to be away from the channel. Unfortunately, I'm not, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you think of it. I guess I'm going to say fortunately because I could use a break, but I'm opting not to choose to have Wi-Fi on board as much as possible. I might pick like 1 or 2 days where I have Wi-Fi on board and then just use the ports time as, time to check my messages and kind of respond to comments and stuff. So the upshot of that is I'm going to actually have dedicated reading time away from the devices, which will be really nice, but I may be a little bit slower to respond to comments than I would like to. But I already have 4 to 5 videos scheduled for you at the time that I'm away. So the video output is going to be as the same, if not maybe slightly more than what you're used to. I'm usually doing 2 to 3 videos a week, so including the weekly reading roundup. So this is going to be kind of a nice special thing that I can put out for you guys, so I can keep the content flowing and keep delivering something that hopefully you enjoy, and that is not too far of radio silence on the channel. So let's talk a little bit about those videos that I'm going to be releasing. So I'm just pulling up my list here. There's a couple that I've already recorded. I'm going to record a couple today after I film this one, and then kind of schedule them all to go out at various days. So I have been thinking a lot about this one. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I did my kind of top 10 fantasy books of all time as of 2024 on the channel recently, and I would like to also do my top 10 favorite authors of all time. Now, the caveat for this one is I have to have read a minimum of 3 books of theirs. So there's a couple of honorable mentions that I've only read 1 or 2, and I know that they're going to go on this list in future videos, but I just kind of kept those as honorable mentions. So I'm going to kind of adopt a similar approach with this, and I really tried to think hard about my top 10 authors and who are the honorable mentions and who are, people who really deserve to be on the top 10 list as of 2024. So that's going to be the first video I'm going to release. The second one I've already filmed is kind of the top 10 tips to read more books. Because, we're all busy. A lot of us are busy professionals. Some people are going to school. Some people are much younger. But we all have things going on in our lives. And it's interesting because reading is a hobby. It's something we love to do. We also fall into comparison traps, looking at other people reading 20 books in a month and stuff. And we always want to read more, but we also don't want to sacrifice the joy in the process, right? So I was trying to think of 10 tips that I've used in my own life to bring the joy back into reading while reading more books, being focused and present, and really enjoying the experience along the way. So that is going to be the next video, and I hope that's helpful for you all. And I tried not to look at any other tips so that I could feel, from other videos, so I could feel like it was mine. And from my direct experience. So hopefully I can provide some unique kind of tips for you all that maybe you haven't heard in other videos. I don't know. But that is the second one. The third one I want to do is the top 10 adaptations I'm most excited about. So what that means is since the pandemic, a lot of people who were stuck at home, and now even during the strikes, a lot of people who are not working, they had nothing to do. They're sitting around reading books. They're like, wow, that would be a good, material to option. And they're trying to find other IP that has a built-in audience. It's less risk for them. And of course, it's a chance for us to see our favorite stories on the big or small screen. So I thought, let's look at the top 10 adaptations that I am most anticipating. And then I can kind of turn it over to you all and see which ones would you really want to see on screen. So that is a kind of a fun, tangentially related to books kind of video I can put out. So that's the third video I'm putting out. The fourth is actually an original tag video by John from Disquiet and Dragons. He did one called Adventures Assemble, and he tagged me in it. So I'm very much looking forward to actually doing that tag before I leave. So that's going to be scheduled to come out for you all. And so I'm really looking forward to doing that video. And then the final video, if I have time, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it before, but at least that's 4 videos in the 11 days that I'm gone. At least that's something, proper. And I'm going to try to do a couple community posts here and there, just sharing pictures of my trip and stuff like that. But the 5th video, if I have time, is a kind of a comparison review of the Kindle Scribe, because, actually I've been getting some comments and questions about it. And I had the Paperwhite previously, and it was like a 2018 Paperwhite, so it's much smaller than the, current Paperwhite size and things like that. I wanted to show you what a jump up that big could do for you in terms of reading experience, and I thought I could speak from my personal vantage point and not as someone who works in tech. I'm not going to talk all about, this feature and this refresh rate and that kind of a thing. More of my personal reading experience as it stands. So that is the 5th optional video. But if I don't get to that before I leave for my trip on Wednesday, then I will definitely film that when I come back. So hopefully that'll answer some questions for you all. So let's talk a little bit about the channel itself right now. We are at 376 subscribers, and that's in just a little over 4 months, which is insane for me. I mean, I did this channel for fun. I did this channel so that I could stay accountable for reading, share kind of book recommendations with you all, and get some book recommendations in return. And I've just been continually pleasantly surprised at the robustness of the community, seeing it from a different vantage point, no longer just a Booktube viewer, but also a Booktube content creator. And I've been loving the journey so far. So for all of those who are joining the journey recently, or those who have been at it since the beginning, 4 months ago, I just wanted to thank you for being here. It's really that's my favorite thing in the world. I was talking to my wife the other day. It's filming all these videos, engaging with you all. It's the upshot of it is I have a little bit less time to read, but the pro of that is I just have so many more fun conversations with people who like to read the same stuff I do, and people who have turned my eyes to other books that I didn't even know about before. So I just gotta say, appreciation to you all. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to continuing this journey for the foreseeable future, for a long time. So many more videos to come. And then I just also wanted to talk a little bit about what I released last week, because I don't know if all of you got a chance to check it out. And it's kind of an underrated book by Stephen King. I decided to do a dedicated review on Elevation. So Elevation is kind of a short novella, 150 pages or so, and I liked it enough, and I thought, a lot of Stephen King fans are on this channel. I should probably do a dedicated review of every Stephen King book I read from here on out, maybe go into the back catalog and kind of start reviewing some of those as well. So I decided to start that with Elevation. And so if you want to check out that review, I'm linking it up here. You can check that out at your leisure, but I think it will kind of answer some people's questions about it, because I think not enough people know about the book. A lot of people have heard it's not that great. I have a kind of differing opinion about that. I don't think it's his best work, but I think it's definitely worth checking out if you want a nice kind of fun read with decent characters and things like that. So for Stephen King completionists, but worth checking out, worth your time, linking it up here. So that's kind of everything channel related. And I wanted to close off this segment with a little bit about my personal life. So myself and a bunch of my college friends turned 40 this year. I'm about to turn 40 on the 24th of August, so really looking forward to that, and I'm going to be spending it on the cruise with my wife. But, as it's a kind of a milestone birthday for us all, my college friends and I, so there was like 5 of us total, we decided to go to Vancouver in Canada to have a three night, 4-day trip. And so we got to see so many beautiful nature sites. We went to the Capilano Bridge, the suspension bridge. It was both terrifying and beautiful. It's like shaking as you walk on it, and it's really high up. I'm going to show you pictures here so you could see it. We did the bike ride around Stanley Park, like a 10-kilometer bike ride. We ate at like some amazing restaurants there and just got to kind of spend time bonding, after like we all went to college 20 years ago almost, which is insane to say, that's just our secret, by the way, just between you and me. Yeah, just being able to spend quality time with my friends was amazing. And I came back and I'm like, I'm ready to work. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm leaving on vacation again in 2 days. So this is not normal for me. I haven't taken a vacation like this kind of a vacation in probably 10 years. I just don't do that very often because of work. So this has kind of been the year where work has been slower, and I'm like, you know what? Let's stop talking about bucket list things and things I want to do eventually. Let's just make that the now. So I'm really looking forward to that. And it was just a wonderful time. So a little bit less reading this week, but still some decent reading progress. And I look forward to really crushing through those goals this coming week for you all and having more videos for you. So let me know what you read, what you enjoyed this week, anything cool happened to you. Let me know, because, whenever, just for those of you who are new here, whenever I talk to you all in the comment section, I'm never just going like, thanks for watching. I'm always asking you questions too. And we kind of have dialogues in sub comments and stuff like that. So it's really fun. And then other people will chime in on those comments as well. And then we'll have 3-way dialogues or 4-way dialogues. It's really nice. And it's kind of, I eventually want to do a Discord channel, but I think the channel is just not big enough to warrant one yet. Let me know if you feel differently though, because I'm always down to start that at any time. And I know that's something that is really important to me, probably important to the Booktube community at large. So you let me know when you feel you would want to see something like that. But yeah, so I guess I'm rambling at this point, but that's it from me. I'm Nick Hill with Shelf-Esteem. Let me know what you thought of this video and what you think I could make it better, because I'm always trying to improve with every video. That's always my goal. I want to add as much value as I can to your time, and your time is very valuable, and it's very valuable to you, which means it's very valuable to me. So with that, please be good to yourselves. Please be good to each other. I will see you on the next one. This is the last one you'll be seeing in real time before my vacation. So have a wonderful next 12 days or so, everybody. And I'll see you when I get back. And in the meantime, more videos coming at you. Take care.